just restored this 1939 Epiphone amplifier. 1939, that is less than 10 years after the first electric guitar was ever made. And these were made for steel guitars and microphones, things like that. Guitars like this, they hadn't even come around yet. It was a disaster. In fact, this amp was redesigned in about 1940, 41, 42, and they continued to improve on it. But this is the first version of it, and man, it was just a mess because it has the amplifier in the bottom of the cabinet, and then it uses these cables to connect to the top where the control panel is up here. And there were ground buzzes and the AC power running alongside the audio wires. It was just a nightmare. Internally, even in the amp itself, there were problems that needed to be remedied. So this has been, this one's whooped me. So I wanted to let you all hear it, though, because it sounds so cool. I also am going to be playing it through this late 1940s Collins remote amp. Both of these belong to the Ernest Tube, Clint Holly, up in Bristol, where they do direct-to-vinyl recording. And so these are going to be part of their arsenal up there, and I think they're going to really enjoy these. This amp originally has 3 inputs, and they are all the same impedance levels, so everything you would plug into those inputs would sound identical. I've changed that, though, because I want to give a little bit more possibilities for tonal colors. The first input is the quietest. It's at 60 kiloohms, and it will have a little bit less drive to the first gain stage. It might be a little bit subdued in the high end, a little bassier sounding. The middle one is about 30-something kiloohms, and that one is kind of middle of the road. It's brighter, it's medium amount of gain. And then the last one is very low impedance, probably 22K or so, and that allows it to drive the input really hard. It's brighter, it's got a lot of aggression, so we're going to listen to all 3 of those. So I've got my guitar set for both pickups, middle position, and this is the middle position on the amp, the middle input, so it should be kind of middle of the road. So nothing has changed on this take other than I've put the jack into input 1, which should be a little quieter, a little more subdued, and probably a little smoother up top. And here's input 3. This one is the one that pushes that first gain stage a lot hotter, and you'll notice it has some nice breakup for this old 80-year-old amp. And if that's a little bit too bright, you can always darken it up a little bit using the tone knob over here. Let's see. Especially if you want to go to the bridge pickup. And because of that reactance between the two different pots, you can drive that gain stage a little harder. Really make it get nasty. Maybe go a little harder. This amp will be on its way back to Clint Holly and the folks at the Ernest Tube. Visit them if you want some live-to-disc recording on their old lathes where they do vinyl recording. So, all right. If y'all have any amps that you need to have worked on, even if they're 81 years old, happy to look at it for you. See you guys.